So thinking about a career where you can really, like, make a difference, where you can use your empathy and strength to be there for families.
Yeah.
Families in really, really tough situations. It's huge.
Yeah.
Sounds like the role of a family support worker is calling to you.
Yeah.
But, and this is important, after a job is real demands and challenges.
It is.
Luckily, you found RoleCatcher, right?
Yeah.
It's like this backstage pass to, well, any career, really. And today we're using it to dive deep into family support work.
And what's powerful about RoleCatcher, they don't give you that, like, glossy brochure.
Right.
They keep it real. They show you the impact, but also the emotional toll it takes.
Yeah.
Because we're talking potentially volatile situations, families dealing with some really, really heavy stuff.
Yeah, no sugarcoating. The guide actually uses the term challenging nature.
Even mentions volatile situations. Like you said, they want to make sure no one's going in blind.
Exactly. And that honesty, it's crucial because the need for family support workers only growing.
Wow.
We're talking 10% increase over the next decade.
Yeah.
And this isn't just some, trend. It reflects big societal shifts.
10%.
Yeah.
Seriously. That's wild.
Yeah.
But it kind of proves your point about the guide being honest, right? And this is not for the faint of heart. But for someone drawn to it, it means there's real opportunity to step up, make a difference.
For sure.
And on that note, I like how RoleCatcher emphasizes tech. It's not just face-to-face anymore.
Absolutely. I mean, it's like we're doing this deep dive right now remotely.
Yeah.
Technology's breaking down barriers.
Yeah. And RoleCatcher, they're a perfect example. AI tools to help with your CV, mock interviews. It's like having a career coach, A&D, tech support in one.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
It's almost like they knew the challenges. Like, what if you're great with people but not tech? They gotcha.
Speaking of challenges, though, they don't avoid the career stuff, do they?
Right.
Like the guide mentions limited advancement opportunities within the field itself.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's where I think understanding this career is so important. It's not really about climbing that, traditional ladder.
Right.
It's about impact, growing your impact.
And I actually love how RoleCatcher shows that. They have this whole section, right, on career stages, real stories from family support workers at all different points.
Exactly. And you see how you go from, like, connecting families with resources, which is huge already, don't get me wrong.
Right, of course. But then maybe you're leading team interventions or even influencing policy changes. Your influence just grows.
Okay, see, that's what I'm talking about. That's what gets me excited. It's like you're not just putting out fires, you're preventing them. But hold on, got to ask for our listener. What are the, core skills here to really thrive day to day as a family support worker?
RoleCatcher is great about this. It's not just about being a nice person. Active listening. That's number one. Truly hearing families, understanding what they're not saying, making that space safe.
Oh, totally. It's way more than just, I'm listening. It's trust, right?
Yes.
And I bet social perceptiveness factors in, though honestly, that term always throws me. It sounds like you need, ESP or something.
It sounds scarier than it is. Think of it like reading between the lines. Those nonverbal cues. Family dynamics that aren't obvious. So, example, families arguing, right? Socially perceptive worker might notice the youngest kid's withdrawn even if they don't say anything.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
It's about those subtle connections.
So it's empathy, observation, critical thinking, all in one. Which, let's be real, those are skills you can build, right? You don't have to be born some family whisperer.
100%. The guide even says these abilities, you hone them. Practice, reflection, and RoleCatcher, again, they've got you those skill guides, the mock interviews.
Which, speaking of, RoleCatcher does this cool thing where they share sample interview questions.
Oh, yeah.
And some are laser focused on this exact work, so ready to test those critical thinking skills. Okay, picture this. You're in the interview, right? And they ask, how would you approach building trust with families? Especially if they're unsure about accepting help at all. Think about that one for a sec.
Ooh, yeah, that's the heart of it. You got to meet people where they are. Understand, asking for help is hard, especially with family stuff. It reminds me of this story, actually, from RoleCatcher's profiles, right? One of the senior support workers, she said she had this family so distrustful of everything, they wouldn't even let her in their house at first.
Wow.
Yeah, she ended up having these deep conversations on their doorstep, just listening to their fears.
Yeah. Man, resilience, right? You can't force that kind of trust. You can earn it. Which actually brings us to RoleCatcher's other great interview question. Warning, this one's tricky. How do you handle it if you disagree with the family's choices? Even if you're worried about the kids? Oof. Heavy stuff.
Yeah, that gets real. Ethically, this job's tough. No easy answers. It's like your professional opinion versus their right to decide for their own W and family.
This stuff.
You got to advocate for the kids, for sure, their safety,
Right.
and also respect. Even if you disagree, a lot of times it means talking to your supervisor. Maybe even lawyers get involved. Depends.
It's such a fine line. Support, but also, when do you step on it? It makes you realize this isn't just A and Y job. It's delicate, human. You need empathy, but also integrity.
Totally. And that's what's so cool about these resources. They don't pretend it's easy. They give you the tools to not just handle it, but to really thrive, demanding work. At fulfilling, absolutely.
For sure. And to everyone listening, if this sparked even a little something for you, that's amazing. It means you get it, you understand, you want to be that strength for families.
And if you're looking for guidance, for real advice, but also real inspiration, RoleCatcher's a great place to start.
So as you think about everything we've discussed, here's a question. What kind of difference do you want to make? For families. Don't lose that. Let that guide you. And hey, who knows? Maybe someday you'll be sharing your story, inspiring others on RoleCatcher.